Hello again, everybody. It's Takedown. Scott Casber. We continue our coverage of the great sport of wrestling. This time we head to Manhattan. We head to the office of Noel Thompson. Noel, today at 1 o'clock, the NCAA unveiled the host site for the NCAA Wrestling Championships, and you have some good news to share. First of all, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Scott. It's a great day for wrestling. 2016 wrestling has finally made to the primetime stage. The NCAA Championships will be held at Madison Square Garden, hosted by Hofstra University. You know, we started the year in Olympic purgatory, and now we end the year with the greatest sport known to man, the oldest sport known to man, heading to the world's most famous arena known to mankind.
So of the 82 championships the NCAA has unveiled, New York, largely the biggest plum of all, is going to be hosting the 2016 edition at Madison Square Garden. Am I hearing you correct?
That's correct. It's been 2 years of a lot of work. You know, the idea came about actually in John Smith's living room, and now here we are 2 years later with great people like Dylan Weiningale from Madison Square Garden and Jeff Hathaway, athletic director of Hofstra University. You know, people who really did a lot of work behind the scenes to help this thing get to the level where it is. I mean, it's great for our sport. You know, the more visible we are, we cannot hide behind the shadows anymore as a sport. We have to show how great our sport is and continue to tell our story to the world.
Outstanding idea, and of course it is a showcase, New York City, and they've proven that recently with the 2 editions of the Grapple at the Garden that have taken place December 1st over the last couple of years, and it's been an outstanding opportunity for wrestling to spread its wings. And Madison Square Garden, in large part, has been responsible for those wings being spread. And I'm talking about putting wrestling into the position of being able to put on a show. And that's what New York is well known for. I thought Las Vegas was the showbiz capital of the world. Truly, New York is, and we've seen that.
Absolutely, but I think the Garden, they're in the business of putting on a sports show, and, it's, showcasing the last 2 Grapple at the Gardens. I think, that was the intention, was to show the world and show the NCAA that, we can host high-end events that are wrestling events in New York City and show the country that. And it's we're lucky and fortunate that, leadership all over the country allowed us to have the first one and really showed up in Iowa and Oklahoma State and Cornell and all the teams and Rutgers and Hofstra that came out in the first Grapple in the Garden, taking the leap of faith for something new and understanding that, that is part of the plan to, arrive at today, 2 years later, not knowing, where the path is going to lead and, through that journey to become, to host the NCAA championships in New York City. So, I mean, again, credit, to, Dylan Weiningale and Jeff Hathaway, athletic director at Hofstra University. I mean, first time ever, this tournament is held in New York City. And, and the great thing is, it's going to be very convenient for individuals to travel to the Garden. The hotels will be cheaper. I mean, there's just a lot of economies of scale that exist in New York, and I think the wrestling fan, which is the most important thing, is to keep butts in the seats. There's going to be 20,000 people there, and we're going to do a lot of new and interesting things at this NCAA Championships, which is going to be more like a premier fight event. So I think a lot of folks are going to love NCAA's in Madison Square Garden.
Bright lights, big city, 8th and forever. That's what it is, man. The corner that we enter the building in, that is one of the more storied corners in all of New York. It's the home of Madison Square Garden, New York City, Manhattan to be exact. And in this case, listen to these numbers. In total, 1,984 bid applications were submitted, and 523 total championship event sites will be awarded today. And of them, perhaps the most sparkling opportunity for the sport of wrestling for display purposes, for competition, will be the championships that will be wrestled in March of 2016 at the Garden, the newly renovated Garden. $1 billion was spent with a specific idea of bringing championships just like this, the much heralded wrestling championships of the NCAA, to the Garden. So $1 billion renovation, did they make a difference? Oh, you bet. We just held that event there. And Noel, you know, as I'm sitting here today, that the Garden is not only ready, it's prepared, its staff is second to none. This is a right and correct choice for the NCAA, or is it?
Oh, it's definitely a correct choice, and I really, and on behalf of, the committee, we really thank them. I mean, they really took an opportunity to give wrestling the opportunity to be at the forefront, not only just any year, but the Olympic year. And, after the up and down year wrestling has had, for the NCAA to entrust us with one of their top money-generating championships, in New York City, it's phenomenal. And to be able to do something, for Hofstra University, which holds the first ever championship, I mean, it's all good, man. It's a win-win outcome, and I think, the wrestling fan is going to enjoy it, and everyone is going to feel a part of it, and it's great for the sport. It's the next movement of wrestling in the 21st century. We got to continue to put butts in the seats and continue to market ourselves and continue to create innovative and new ideas to help drive the sport forward.
It wasn't that long ago, matter of fact, just maybe a month and a half or so ago, when you were inducted as the Young Alumnus of the Year of Hofstra, and boy, did they pick the right guy. It seems that you've been on the forefront or the cutting edge of the changes in this sport for the last several years, most notably the development of the Beat the Streets organization, which has fueled the resurgence of wrestling not only in the city but in the boroughs and the greater New York area. And that's been a positive. So it's opened up the eyes. It's created a desire. The Metropolitan Wrestling Organization, the association there in the city, has been an outstanding and driving force for change in the city. The New York Athletic Club, I think we have to give a lot of credit to the New York Athletic Club. They've continued to sponsor wrestling and wrestlers for a number of years, in large part being the only home for competition for a number of years in the city, and doing so with so much regard for the sport. They open their arms lovingly and welcome that competition. So, Noel, there's a lot of folks to thank, but pointedly, it's one of the reasons why we're doing this interview with you. You've been there. You've been there every time we've needed you, and traveled the world in many cases on your own dime. Hundreds of thousands of miles on behalf of the sport, to promote the sport, to defend it, to bring it, the world and the Olympic world, back to its senses. So I thank you, but again, there are others to thank on that organizing committee. It doesn't happen because one guy or Michael Novogratz wants it to happen, or the athletic director at Hofstra wants to happen. It's a whole lot of folks that need to come together to present the idea, to present the economies, and the economies are a big thing. What concerns should people have about New York City and 20,000 seats? Is it it's an expensive city, or is it?
It's not an expensive city in the terms of big events, because obviously part of the bid process was putting together a package that was not only acceptable to the fan, but also acceptable to the athletes, and making sure the NCAA costs are lower. And, we really, we had a lot of negotiations that had to happen to make it feasible, and to make it profitable for the NCAA, and to make the experience for the fan exciting. And I think, by being able to do that, and Dylan and Jeff and, all the folks on the committee, I think it really moves the sport forward. We got to continue to create new things. I think Andy Barth with Titan Mercury Club, really being, a forefront of wrestling right now, and just innovation and excitement, and he's part of the committee as well as Mike Novogratz and Josh Harris and Jerry Seckler, Al Bevilacqua. I mean, those, guys, there's so many folks that really make things happen, and, you got to take risk, and, the only bad decision you make in life is taking no risk. So, again, congratulations, to, everyone who put their effort and time in, and thanks, to Jeff, Dylan, and crew, who really, saw the vision and has helped the sport move forward. So this is a great day for wrestling. This is a great year for wrestling. And, we got to continue to keep that momentum and keep that momentum for change and innovation and excitement, because we are the greatest sport in the world.
Noel, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations. Appreciate all you do, all you have done, and all you will do, because I've got you on the hook, brother. I'm not letting you go, ever.